Hello everybody. Now that we are done with doing the bivariate analysis of the numeric variables, rather I can say some of the numeric variables, now the time comes, if you remember, initially we discussed that we would be having two data sets. One is current application data set and the other one is previous application data set. So now the time comes to explore the previous application data set, and then we will see how we can derive the combined analysis out of these two data sets. So let's start with this. Okay, so we are going to do the similar thing. First we will explore the data, we will check out what all are the features available, then what all are the missing values, what all are the variables which have missing values, and how to and impute the missing values accordingly, and then further proceed with the analysis. All right, but don't worry, to save the time and to keep the video concise and to the topic, and not to make you lost, what I have done is this time I will be writing less codes, rather I will be doing the copy paste so that we could be more focused on the content part. All right, so let's just start with checking out the missing values first. All right, so for that what I have done is I have already codes written over here. So what I'll do is I'll just check it out. Okay, so it will be little slow, you gotta bear with this, okay. So now that we are done with creating the things, let me just have a look on this. Okay, let's just have a look on this. In the meantime, I'll close these two programs and just write over here. So what you see is these are the variables in previous app data frame. Here comes the previous app data frame. I have simply taken the percentage of missing rows in this data frame by each of the column. This is something which I have done step by step for current app data frame, which is this one. For this data frame I have done this step by step. You can refer to the previous videos. All right, so here, like you can see, we got the list of all the variables by percentage missing values. Okay, so here you see these are the variables which have maximum number of missing values. So what like we did previously, so we will pick out those variables which has the missing values more than or equals to 40%, and then we will see how to drop them and all those things, right? So let's just first pick out these variables out of it. Okay, so for that I have written this code, and this will just give us a list of columns, these columns which have missing percentage more than or equals to 40%. Now the next thing is to remove these columns from the data frame. All right, so let's just check it out. Okay, all right, so these are the columns which have missing values greater than or equals to 40%. Other than that, there are some more variables which are not of much use. What are those variables? So I have done the analysis, I have done the exploration of those variables, and these are the variables I found have not much use, right? So if you want to understand, just pause the video and read out the definition which we have written over here. Okay, now so I will try to combine these variables with this list, and then at the end we will try to drop them all. Okay, so how to do that? So for that what I will be doing is I'll create a variable which is called NVA calls. NVA calls means non-value add columns. All right, so let me show you the list of NVA calls. Here comes the list of NVA calls. So in this, if you see, these are the variables which has missing value greater than or equals to 40%, and these are the variables which I decided to drop basis on the analysis, the definition of the variable, rather you can say. Okay, so if you take the length, number of variables, how many variables are there in total? There are 15 variables. 11 variables with missing value greater than or equals to 40%, and 4 variables which are not of much use. Let's move forward and let's try to drop these variables. Okay, so how can we drop these variables? Before dropping that, maybe if you would like to have a note of all the variables which we have in our data frame. So the total number of variables that we have are 37. Now let's just try and remove the variables. So here what you see is this is this is the line, this is the patch of code which I am using to drop the columns. Like you can see here, I'm using, this is my data frame, and here I'm using drop, and in labels I am passing the list of these columns which I have created over here. Axis is nothing but just I'm trying to say that these are the columns, okay, and this will be the data frame which would have all the columns except these 15. All right, and then we will see how many columns we are left with. So we are left with 22 columns. What those columns are, what all are those columns? If you want to have a look, then you can do this. Here is what you got. If you want to see the data, then what you can do is just simply say head, and here we got that. All right, so this is how we get the variables which are going to be useful for us. Now the next thing which we're gonna do is check out what all are the variables, I mean what is the missing values now we have in the data frame. So for that, what we're gonna do is we're gonna just have a look on this. Let's have a look. Here is what we got. All right, so these are the variables which have the missing values in majority, right? So amount, good price, amount, annuity, count payment. Count payment means number of installments or number of months, for how many months the loan is given, okay. And then here comes product combination, right? So this has very low percentage. If you want, you can ignore this, or we can just continue with this, okay. That's highly going to put some impact over here. All right, so here is the other variable, which is amount credit, which has extremely low missing value. So you can just ignore that. You can feel free to ignore that. Let's see what next that we gonna have. So we will start with the variables one by one. First thing which we're gonna start with is analyzing the goods price, amount, good price, okay. So let's just have a look here. What I'm trying to do is I'll just try to find the mean and median of this particular value, right? So if you see, the median is 112,000 while the mean is 227,000. That means the data is skewed. That's because simply it is saying that whatever the number of records that you have, more than all right, so 50% of the records are below, 50% of the loans have good price less than or equals to 112,000. Then how come mean can be 227,000? All right, well, then it clearly shows that certainly there are outliers in the data frame. In this particular variable there are outliers, because see, mean or median are highly different, okay. So let's just figure out how can we treat those missing values. So what we will do is we will try to find mean, median, mode, everything, and we will see what fits well, right? And then we will see. Okay, so first of all, I will try to fill the missing values using median. So what I'm doing is, in the data frame I'm creating one variable which is called amount, goods price, median. So by, like the name itself suggests, median suffix means here we are filling the missing values using the median, okay. So this is done. Next thing which we're gonna do is we're gonna try to fill the missing values with mean, and then another thing which we're gonna do is fill the missing values using mode. Now that we are done with filling the missing values, next thing what we're gonna do is we're gonna get a list of all these columns, and then we will try to create a plot for all these columns. So here you see, this is the original variable which would have the missing values. Then here is median, and then here is mean value, fill missings filled with mean value, and then here missings fills with mode value. Now let's try to plot all these variables and see which of these three looks identical to this one. Whatever looks identical to this one, we will use that, okay. That's how it makes sense. This is a very interesting analysis to fill the missing values, right? Because here we are simply trying to see whatever of these three are looking identical to this, we are using that only to fill the missing values into it. That's how our data almost remains balanced, okay. So for that, what we're gonna do is we're gonna plot them all. over here. All right, so this is the script which I have already written, and then I will just plot this over here. This will take some time to show you the graphs. Just bear with this. Until then, I'll all right, so here we got our plots created, right? So let me just make it a little bigger. So what you see is this is the original variable amount, goods, price, and this is the median, this is mode, and this is mean. Mean is of course out of scope. If you see over here, mean is obviously out of scope because see, this is different. It has two spikes, two big spikes, right? While our original data has just one big spike, and that is touching to 6 million approximately. Median looks pretty identical to this, right? Approximately 6 million with one spike. Amount, goods, price, mode is also identical, but somehow it is exceeding to no, this is density, right? So not exactly okay. So here it is somehow exceeding to 8 million. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead with filling the missing using median. All right, so because see, mean is of course out of scope. The only thing which we are left with is either median or mode. I choose to go ahead with median. I would highly encourage you to try this using mode and see how does it behaves in your analysis. Okay, so let's just start with, so here is the patch that I'm going to use to fill the missing values. All right, and we are done. We are done with filling the missing values in this particular variable. If you don't trust me, what you can do is you can just take this and say is null, and then you can simply say sum, and here is what you get: 0 missing values. There is no missing values. Okay, now the next thing which comes in is amount annuity variable. All right, so let's just check out the amount annuity. So in amount annuity, again we're gonna find the minimum maximum. Why do we do this? Amount annuity has the missing values that we understood, and that was approximately 22% amount annuity, right? And amount annuity is something, you know, that's the annual payment which a customer can make, right? So we are just trying to figure out what is the mean, median, and max, which will give us the idea if the data has certain outlier basis on which we can choose which one of these we should use to fill the missing values, or we should choose neither of these three. Okay, so let's just have a look. Here is what we get. So mean is 15,955, median is 11,000, and maximum is 418,000. Okay, though mean and median are looking little close to each other, these are close to each other, right? Still, so I think we can use these things to fill the missing values, right? So let's just see what fits well. Okay, so here is the code that I have already written. Like you can see over here, mean is somewhere 15,000 and median is 11,000. That means again we are saying that half of the population are below 11,250 amount annuity, right? They are paying the amount annuity of less than equals to 11,000, right? But how come mean is coming to this 15,000, right? Again, there seem to be some outliers in the data. So again, what I'll do is I'll go ahead and use the median to fill the missing. Okay, so let's just do this. Here I am done with doing so. All right, so now we are done with filling the missing values in amount annuity variable as well. Next thing which comes is, after filling the amount annuity, the next thing which we're going to look at is product combination. Let's first have a look at the values. What are the values that we have in this particular variable? Okay, so let's say, you know, head. So these are the values which we have. So like you can see, this is the categorical variable, so we cannot perform mean, median, minimum, maximum, etc., right? So what we can do is, in this case, we can simply use the mode to fill the missing values, right? So here it says POS, mobile with interest, cash, Excel, etc., etc., right? So here I will simply use the mode to fill the missing values. Okay, so let's just try. Though this particular variable has very less number of missing values, so if you want, you can manage to ignore this as well. Okay, this had just, okay, let me just show it to you how much of the missing values. It has just 0.02 percent of the missing values. Okay, I mean somewhere 0.02%. Okay, so this is what the missing values it has. All right, so if you want, you can just try to manage to ignore that. Okay, next thing which we are left with is, after amount annuity, what is the variable? Count payment. This is going to be interesting. Okay, count payment. All right, what is count payment, CNT payment? Let's just first understand what CNT payment is. So I'll just take you over here, and in the list of description I'm just going to put this terms of previous credit at application of the previous application. Okay, let's just see what does this mean. Okay, terms of previous credit at application of the previous applications, right? So this is simply saying for how many months the loan was given. Okay, so let's just try to understand this variable in more detail. Okay, let's just try to explore this particular variable. So here what I'm going to do is, I will just check out. Okay, let me divide it in the pieces first. Okay, so what I'll do is, let's just see let's just see the analysis. Okay, first of all, let's just take this, and over here I will just use this product combination, not product combination, rather count payment. Okay, this is what I'm going to use over here. So if you see, these are number of months, right? Mean is 16 months, median is, I hardly believe that some loans given for 16 months, median is for 12 months, max is 84 months. All right, but see, the problem over here is, this is we require to do some more analysis on this part. There is one variable which is called name contract status, which is simply saying that whether the previous application was approved, declined, refused, or cancelled, or whatever it is, right? So we're gonna have the two-dimensional analysis on this particular one. Let me just, okay, this is similar one. All right, so let me just see. All right, so here you see for count payment we got this numbers. Okay, and all right, so here what I have done is, there are two variables which I have considered. One, count payment, which is simply telling you the tenure, and this is the status of the application for the previous application. Okay, so here it simply shows that in the previous application data there were these many applications which were cancelled. So what you see is, majority of the applications are getting cancelled. So if you use either mean, median, or max to fill the fill the missing values, that would have wrong impact on the data, right? I mean incorrect influence on the data. All right, because see, this number will highly influence that, because in the mean this will have significant contribution, right, which does not make much sense. Similarly, refused also, or something like that, right? Most importantly, cancelled is something which is going to be non-value add. Okay, so that's how I would suggest that let's just fill the missing values in this particular variable using 0. All right, so here we will use 0 to fill the missing values. Okay, so now we are done with filling the missing values. Now that we are done with filling the missing values, let's just have a look at the count of missing values once again, and then see what are the variables that have missing values. None of the variables have the missing values except amount credit, which is just one record with missing values, which we can simply ignore. That's not required at all. Okay, if you want, you can just fill that with using the mean if that data does not have any outlier, or maybe you can use 0 to fill that missing value. Ideally it won't be 0, so either use, because amount credit cannot be 0. Okay, so you see, if the status, if this particular status is not cancelled, then you can try to put median into that. Okay, just if you are interested in filling that. Okay, otherwise you can simply ignore. Now after that, the next thing which comes in over here is, you remember here we created many variables for our analysis. These 3 variables which we created for our analysis, which are of not use in the data. We just created it to check out the analysis, right? Do our analysis to fill the missing values. Now the time comes to drop them from the data, right? So let's just drop them. Those are dropped. Next line, in the next step, what we're gonna do is we're gonna find the missing values. Now let's just see what is their status. Now again we got the same, and along with the missing values we also wanted to drop these variables. So after dropping those variables, the list of variables which we final list of variables which we have is this, and after that I'm just going to show you the number of variables that we are going to work with. They are just 22. In the previous application data frame we have only 22 variables to work on. Now what we will do next is, in the next step we will do the analysis, and then we will try to merge this data with the current application, and on the current application we will try to derive the conclusion or inferences using the historical record, right? That's gonna be very interesting. So let's see you in the next video. Thank you very much for watching this. Wish you good luck.